The rain in Portland fell like someone forgot to turn off the city's faucet. Drops hammered the windshield of Travis Carter's rented sedan, a chaotic symphony drowning out his thoughts. Distant car horns blended with the rush of water on the pavement, as if the world was sinking into a wet, gray haze. Travis, 36, once a desk jockey, now jobless and driving for a rideshare app, dreamed of owning his own auto shop. For now, though, it was just him, the night, and anonymous fares. His phone pinged on the dashboard. One last passenger. This one, then bed, he muttered, tapping accept. The suburban train station at 8 p.m. was a neon-lit canvas of steam, rising from rain-soaked asphalt. Commuters hustled with suitcases, huddling under awnings to escape the downpour. She stood there, under the shelter, tall, slightly hunched against the chill. A bright yellow raincoat glowed against the drab night. Her small, wheeled suitcase looked battered, its scratched plastic hinting at long journeys rather than tidy hotel rooms. Travis popped the trunk remotely. She lifted the case herself, her movements smooth but firm, then slid into the back seat. On the right, a tug at her who'd sent raindrops scattering like shattered glass. Then her voice cut through, clear and steady, like thunder in the storm. "Will you marry me?" For 3 heartbeats, the car held only the tick-tick of the blinker and the rain's soft roar outside. Travis turned, gripping the steering wheel until his knuckles whitened. "Sorry, what did you say?" His voice wavered, unsure if he'd heard right. She met his eyes in the rearview mirror. "I'm dead serious, or at least, pretend I am. I need a husband. Temporarily." A dry chuckle escaped Travis's throat. This a prank, a proposal, ambush. Where's the hidden camera? He glanced around, half expecting a crew to jump out yelling, "Gotcha!" She smiled, a mix of warmth and edge. "No cameras. I'm Marianne. Drive me to Cannon Beach. I'll pay double the fare, cover gas, plus a bonus to keep this quiet." The word quiet hung in the air, dangerous yet tempting. Travis caught a whiff of coffee from a vending machine and the faint must of old office carpet from his past. His life lately had been a slog of monotony. Danger, maybe, was less daunting than boredom. He took a deep breath, nodded. "All right, details on the way." He hit the gas, and Portland's lights faded in the rearview as the sedan rolled into the night. The dashboard cast a dim glow inside the car. The rain kept its steady beat, an uninvited companion. Marianne began, her voice low and sure. "I had a best friend, Ruth. She passed recently, left a weird will. Her house goes to the person she loved most, provided they're not alone. The lawyers turned that into a deadline. I need to prove I'm married by my 50th birthday, 7 days from now." She paused, staring out the window where rain streaked like tears. Travis frowned, processing. "So picking a random driver is your proof you're not alone?" His tone held a hint of skepticism. Marianne turned, her gaze sharp but not hostile. "I watched people at the station all afternoon. You were the only one who stopped to help an old lady with a stuck suitcase wheel. Patient, no attitude. I need someone trustworthy, even if it's just for now." Her explanation caught Travis off guard. He hadn't thought anyone noticed that small act. Still, part of him stayed wary. "You're not worried about trusting the wrong guy?" Marianne shrugged, a faint smile flickering like a passing streetlight. "Plans have failed me more than chances. I'm picking chance this time." Her boldness made Travis pause. He'd once craved that kind of courage, to leap into the unknown. But his life had been a loop of routine, dreams deferred. "What's the plan then?" he asked, voice quieter, as if afraid to break the moment. "We go to Cannon Beach. Take a wedding photo for the local paper. Get 2 witnesses to sign off. Done. You chase your dreams. I keep the house where the air still smells like cinnamon and shrimp stew." She spoke with certainty, like it was all neatly mapped out. Travis swallowed hard. A house holding memories. He wished he could box up his past so isolely. "Just a photo, nothing messier?" he asked, trying to sound calm. "Just that," Marianne replied, "but it has to look real. I don't want the lawyers sniffing around." She pulled a stack of cash from her raincoat, setting it gently on the front seat. "Down payment, rest when it's done." Travis glanced at the bills, a mix of curiosity and unease, stirring. This wasn't a normal ride. It was a detour, invitation to a story he hadn't rehearsed. He breathed deep, smelling rain and asphalt through the window crack. "Deal, but I want more about you along the way." He kept his eyes on the road. Marianne nodded, leaning back. "Fair, I'll talk, but you share too. Long drive can't just be one voice." Her tone held a playful challenge. Travis cracked a small smile, his first that night. The sedan glided past Portland's last lights, plunging into the highway's darkness. The rain didn't stop, but it wasn't just noise anymore. It was the rhythm of a story unfolding, with 2 strangers and a wild proposition. The rain kept pouring, a watery curtain blurring the highway. The tires hummed on wet pavement, syncing with the windshield wipers' steady thwack. Travis gripped the wheel, eyes locked on the headlights slicing through the dark. Marianne sat in the back, her silhouette faint in the dashboard's glow. The space between them still held the distance of strangers, but her bizarre offer had planted a seed of intrigue in Travis's chest. He glanced at her in the rear view. She was staring out the window, serene, as if reading tales the rain scrawled on the glass. "So, Marianne," Travis said, breaking the quiet, "you said we shall start. Used to push papers in an office, 10 hours a day, till the company downsized. Now I drive, scraping by, dreaming of my own auto shop, a place where cars come in clunking and leave purring like a jazz tune." He gave a self-deprecating chuckle. "Your turn. What makes you bold enough to hop in a stranger's car and pitch a marriage?" Marianne turned, her eyes glinting under passing streetlights. "I was married once, 15 years ago. We split because we loved different silences. He craved midnight's hush. When the world's asleep, I loved dawn's quiet, when the city's just stirring. We gave each other freedom and left the rings behind." She paused, her voice softening. "Ruth, my best friend, was the only one who got it. She left me her house but with a test. Prove I'm not alone." Travis furrowed his brow, fingers tapping the wheel. "You're not alone, but you need a fake marriage. Sounds like a contradiction." He kept his tone light, but doubt crept in. Marianne smiled, a tired but familiar expression, like she'd explained herself 1,000 times. "Being alone isn't about having no one around, Travis. It's when there's no one left to share the little things like cinnamon scent, or the sound of waves in Cannon Beach. I want the house because it's Ruth, but I need someone to play this part in you. You seem real." Real. Travis laughed, but the word hit a forgotten corner of his heart. He wasn't sure he'd been real with anyone lately, even himself. A flash of lightning lit the road, followed by a thunderclap. The GPS blinked red. Road closed due to storm. Fallen tree ahead. Travis sighed, easing the car to a stop under the sickly yellow glow of a sodium lamp by a lonely gas station. Dead end. "We wait till morning for the cleanup crew." Marianne peered out at the relentless rain. "Let's grab coffee, wait for the sky to calm down," she said, pulling 2 crumpled bills from her raincoat and passing them forward. "My treat." Travis took the damp money, feeling oddly surreal holding it. He opened the door, cold air and asphalt's temps rushing in. "Come on, future Mrs. Carter. Fair warning, I'm no conversationalist on an empty stomach." The gas station diner was a cramped nook, smelling of caramel syrup and diesel from the trucks parked outside. The server, an old man with a face like weathered oak, sat down to steaming mugs without a word. Travis stirred his, the spoon clinking against the ceramic. "Nevin married," he admitted, voice low like he was sharing a secret. "Always thought someday would show up, but it's stuck in the rear view. You besides that marriage, what makes you this fearless?" Marianne slipped off her glasses, steam from the coffee fogging the lenses in soft halos. "I used to teach literature, helped kids find meaning in stories. Ruth was the one who yanked me out of books, made me live for real. She'd say, 'Marianne, if life doesn't hand you a script, write your own.' So here I am, drafting a new chapter." She paused, locking eyes with Travis. "What about you? That auto shop, what's it mean?" Travis sipped his coffee, its bitterness sharpening his senses. "Freedom, a place to fix broken things, make them run right. Cars don't lie, unlike people. A weird noise is a puzzle to solve. Simple." He stopped, realizing he'd said more than usual. Marianne nodded, like she heard more than his words. Outside, the rain persisted, but the thunder had faded. The server, Hank Per his namatag, approached, wiping his hands on his apron. "The road won't open till dawn. The Driftwood Inn's a block away. Y'all should rest." He winked like he knew they were dodging something. Travis looked at Marianne, waiting for her cue. "I snore," she said, a teasing glint in her eye. "I talk in my sleep," Travis shot back. "Might make a terrible duet." They both laughed, the first real laugh of the night, as if the flickering neon sign, like a forgotten TV from the 80s. The key to room 12 jangled as Travis unlocked the door. Inside, 2 twin beds, a cracked lampshade, and an ancient radio. He switched it on, and a saxophone from a 60s jazz record filled the room, smooth as velvet but crackling with static. Marianne shed her raincoat, her silver hair shimmering under the light like frost on glass. "Don't worry," she said, catching his glance. "Age isn't a secret, just a long story." Travis wanted a witty comeback but went honest instead. "The rain makes you stand out. It doesn't dim you." Marianne's smile flickered, soft but warm enough to heat the room. She turned up the radio, the saxophone growing intimate, smoky. "It's been a while since I danced," she murmured, almost to herself. Not with rain, not with anyone. The silence that followed wasn't empty, it brimmed with possibility. Travis felt his pulse step forward. "Let's fix that," he said, offering his hand. Her hand was cool but steady, and they swayed, clumsily on the worn carpet, guided by the storm outside and the saxophone's shared heartbeat. In that moment, "Will you marry me?" wasn't a joke. It was a door cracking open to a road neither had mapped. Morning sunlight pierced the thin fog, painting the road to Cannon Beach in pale gold. The tires hummed on damp pavement, mingling with Joni Mitchell's Both Sides now from the car's speakers. Travis glanced at Marianne, now in the front seat, self-proclaimed navigator with a playful grin. She swayed lightly to the music, her silver hair catching the light. The car felt like a familiar space now, where two strangers were learning each other through stories and silences. But as the Haystack Rock loomed ahead, a jagged silhouette against the Pacific, both fell quiet, sensing the weight of their destination. Travis slowed as they crossed a bridge, the ocean glittering on both sides, fishing boats bobbing like toys below. Marianne pressed her hand to the window, eyes on the horizon. Almost there, she whispered, relief and nerves blending in her voice. Travis nodded, feeling less like a driver and more like a character in her script. So, the plan. Photo, signatures, done. He tried to sound casual. Marianne turned, her gaze sharp yet kind. A wedding photo for the local paper, to witness signatures, and a story that sells. But Travis, I wanted to feel real, not for the lawyers but for Ruth. She'd know if I faked it. Her voice dipped, like she was speaking to her lost friend. Travis swallowed, sensing a new pressure not from the deal, but from the trust she placed in him. The car rolled into Cannon Beach's First Street. Victorian cottages with faded paint lined the road, mixed with murals of leaping salmon. The air carried salt and damp wood. Travis parked outside an old bookstore, its sign reading closed for inventory with a charming typo. He killed the engine, turning to Marianne. Find a place to crash first, then tackle that epic photo. Marianne nodded, but her eyes lingered on a hill where a weathered wooden house peeked through pines. That's Ruth's place, she said softly, like she feared breaking a memory. But tonight, let's live off the clock, partner. They checked into the Sea Spray Inn, where the scent of fresh scones mingled with furniture polish. Rosa, the innkeeper with gray hair braided tight, handed over keys to adjacent rooms with a curious smile. Honeymoon or dodging the law? She teased, eyes twinkling. Marianne replied coolly, somewhere in between. Still picking out chapter. Rosa laughed, slipping an extra scone into Travis's hand. Hold on to her, kid. Cannon Beach loves a good love story. That afternoon they wandered the hilly streets. Travis snapped photos of wooden staircases climbing to cliffside decks, while Marianne gazed at distant sails. The town felt like an old stage, every passerby playing a small, vibrant role. An elderly woman selling flowers called to Marianne, pressing a sprig of lavender into her hand. For the new bride, she said with a wink. Marianne smiled, but Travis noticed her grip tighten on the flower. They paused at Ruth's house on the hill. Its silvered wood facade and creaking porch steps sang like an old upright bass. A faint cinnamon scent mixed with sea air, as if the house breathed Ruth's memories. Marianne touched the door, whispering, "Hey, old friend." Travis surveyed the overgrown garden and sagging fence. "Needs work," he said, a spark of enthusiasm in his voice. "But the wood's solid. Just want some elbow grease." Marianne turned, eyes gleaming. "That an offer? Discount for the woman who dragged me into this orbit." Travis grinned. They laughed, the sound echoing in the hill's stillness. But a coughing engine below broke the moment. An old man, Tom, wrestled with a vintage Chevy pickup. Smoke curling from the hood. Travis approached, introducing himself. "Carburetors flooded," he diagnosed after a glance. "Gimme 20 minutes." Marianne leaned in, eyes bright. "Fix it, and I'll give you 5 charm points." 20 minutes later, the engine roared smoothly, a blues riff brought to life. Tom, a grizzled vet with a carved face, tipped his cap. "You gave me another summer, son. How do I repay you?" Travis glanced at Marianne. "Wish us luck with tomorrow's photo shoot." Tom grinned, winking. "Y'all don't need luck." He drove off, leaving a grateful puff of exhaust. That evening, Cannon Beach glowed under warm yellow lights. They stepped into the crab shack, where butter and sea salt scented the air. A local band tuned up in the corner, drums whispering like secrets. They ordered Pinot Noir, the red wine catching the light. As the saxophone wailed, Marianne closed her eyes, chasing an old radio signal. Travis leaned in, murmuring, "Gossip spreads faster than Wi-Fi. Those 2 ladies behind us are buzzing about the newlyweds at City Hall tomorrow." Marianne's eyes snapped open, a sly grin spreading. "Pick a time and photographer." Then their waiter, a young guy with a red crab tattoo, jumped in. "My brother's the sheriff. Loves photography. Snaps every event in town. Want me to call him?" Marianne nodded. "As long as he catches the sunlight and my honest wrinkles." During the band's break, the sax player shouted, "Any couples wanna dance?" Travis stood, offering his hand. Their dance was smoother than the night before, like a memory polished by sleep. Applause warmed the room, cozier than any hearth. The next morning, fog draped Cannon Beach like a gauzy veil. City Hall, with its red brick and white clock tower, looked like a 40s movie set. Sheriff Rick, broad-shouldered, wielded an old Nikon, directing like a Hollywood pro. "Closer, ma'am," hand on his shoulder. "Buddy, smile like your secrets are just a pie recipe." Marianne, in a sage-green jacket, Travis in a clean flannel, looked natural, like they'd driven off the highway into a new life. As the shutter clicked, locals gathered. Tom and his granddaughter, Rosa, the crab shack waiter, 2 reporters. Someone passed hot cocoa, another offered donut holes. Rick laughed. "Wedding or not, we got pastries." "Cannon Beach approves." Marianne leaned in, whispering to Travis, Feels more real than I expected, he replied softly. For a second, I forgot it's a play. His heart thudded like something had shifted in his chest. Ruth's house, the photo, this town, they were weaving a story bigger than their plan. Noon sunlight glinted off Cannon Beach's rooftops, but a cold gust from the Pacific carried the scent of coming rain. Travis and Marianne left City Hall, the fake wedding photo done, yet the realness lingered, undefined. They walked the main street, shoulder to shoulder, their shoes tapping the sidewalk in rhythm with distant waves. Marianne held a hot cocoa, steam curling before her face. Feels like the whole town married us, she said, a wry smile in her voice. Travis chuckled, but his gaze drifted, searching the pastel shop fronts for something he couldn't name. Suddenly, a rented Honda screeched to a stop at the corner, tires squealing on wet pavement. The door swung open, and Jamie, Travis's ex-girlfriend, stepped out. Her trench coat shimmered like wet steel, dark hair pulled tight in a bun. She eyed Travis, her gaze a mix of bitterness and curiosity. "This your retirement party, Travis?" Her voice cut like a blade, flicking toward Marianne, then to the hilltop house. A crumbling cabin, an older woman, and you playing night. Thought you'd outgrown the hero act. Her words stung, dragging up memories of their tense breakup, when Jamie always said he escaped reality with impractical dreams. Marianne stood still, her grip tightening on the cocoa cup, but she stayed silent, watching Travis like she was reading his soul. "Who are you?" Travis asked, voice rough, fighting for calm. Jamie stepped closer, heels clicking. "The one who got texts from friends about Travis Carter's wedding plastered on local news feeds. You still love the spotlight, huh? But what's your game with her?" She glanced at Marianne, eyes narrowed with suspicion. Travis felt heat rise to his face. "This isn't your business, Jamie. Leave." But his words lacked conviction, like he was questioning himself. Jamie smirked, heading back to her car. "Think hard, Travis. Don't let your auto shop dream turn into a rotting house." She slammed the door, the Honda speeding off, leaving a nearby bench, her voice calm but sharp. "Who was she, Travis? And why did she make you look at me like I'm a mistake?" Travis rubbed his forehead, feeling the ground shift beneath him. "Jamie, we broke up 2 years ago. She thought I lived in fantasies, not reality. But she's wrong. It's not a fantasy." He paused, his voice trembling. Marianne's gaze was gentle yet challenging. "Then why do you look like you're doubting yourself?" Her question pierced him. Travis turned away, staring at the gray waves crashing on basalt rocks. "I'm not doubting you, but everything I do fixing cars, driving, it's about fixing what's broken. I don't know if I'm fixing or breaking." Marianne stepped forward, touching his shoulder, but he stepped back. "I need time," he said, barely audible. He borrowed Tom's Chevy pickup, climbed in, and drove off without looking back. Marianne stood alone, wind tossing her silver hair, her face a blend of hurt and resolve. 50 miles later, Travis pulled into the Pine Haven Motel, a cheap spot reeking of bleach and humming with a soda machine outside. He sat on the bed, head in hands, rain tapping the tin roof like it was drilling into his mind. Jamie's words echoed. "What's your game?" He'd thought this thing with Marianne was a chance, a new story, but now he wondered if he was just a sidekick in her script. His phone buzzed, a text from Rosa at the Sea Spray Inn. "You okay?" Marianne's worried. He didn't reply, staring at the rain through the window, his heart scattered like parts on a workbench. Back at the Sea Spray, Marianne sat in the lobby, a cold tea in hand, watching a local news channel. The Coastal Chronicle aired a reporter by a farmer's market veteran, Tom Rivers, thanks Travis Carter for fixing his Chevy pickup. The only way he gets to chemo. A small act, big impact. Footage showed Tom and his granddaughter, then Travis's hands oil-stained, smiling genuinely. Marianne covered her mouth, eyes misty. Travis wasn't acting, he'd woven himself into Cannon Beach's pulse, like a circuit sorted tight. Rosa stood behind her, hand on Marianne's shoulder. "Good ones are rare. Go. Most just break, not fix." Marianne nodded, clutching Ruth's house key in her pocket. It wasn't bait anymore, it was a promise-taking shape. The next morning, she brewed strong tea, climbed into her sedan, and drove to Pine Haven. The road twisted through pine forests, fog clinging to the windshield like ghosts of the past. She parked at the motel, coffee and bleach hitting her nose. She knocked on Travis's door 3 times, steady as a clock. Travis opened it, eyes tired but surprised. Marianne handed him a steaming coffee, her voice soft but firm. "2 things, coffee to wake you up, and an apology." She held up the house key, light glinting on its chrome. "I threw you into a crazy challenge without thinking it'd hurt. You became part of Cannon Beach faster than I did, and I knew Ruth my whole life. I was wrong not to ask what you wanted." Travis studied the key, then her eyes. "What about your risk? You talk chances, but what's this to you?" Marianne took a deep breath, her voice quivering. "I lost a husband, a best friend, the orbits that defined me. I want to feel alive again, not just tally my years." The house was an excuse. You're the one I dared ask a ridiculous question in a rainstorm. She paused, eyes earnest. I'm not forcing you to say yes. The rain drizzled in the parking lot, but the air between them lightened. Travis took the key, feeling its cool metal. No ultimatums, he said, voice low. Just small, normal steps. Marianne smiled, nodding. Breakfast, painting, no borrowed lines. Travis laughed, his first in days, soft but true. Let's go home, he said. Home carried not just walls, but roads, cinnamon, and unwritten stories. Dawn broke in Cannon Beach, sunlight filtering through thin fog, illuminating wooden stalls rising on the sandy shore. Waves crashed, mixing with kids' laughter as they darted past hay bales, while fairy lights twinkled like fallen stars. The scent of fried crab and vanilla donuts swirled, fueling the coastal market's buzz. Travis and Marianne arrived, carrying a folding sign. Free first coat of paint. Their plan was simple. Travis would fix bikes, tighten stroller wheels, and tune old boat engines. Marianne would pour hot cocoa, collecting donations for Ruth's house paint. A trial run for shared habits. She winked, lining up on the table. Travis grinned, wiping his hands on an oil-streaked apron. Survived 10 hours of bike repairs and cocoa chilled by fog. Will handle 30 years of creaky stairs. Within an hour, a line formed. Kids with broken bike spokes, fishermen with tired outboards, tourists curious about the odd couple painting a hilltop house. Each thank you was a new plank in their relationship's foundation. Marianne poured cocoa, swapping short stories with customers, while Travis wielded a wrench, making squeaky bikes hum again. By noon, the fog lifted, revealing a sea-like polished steel. Wind fluttered the stall's tiny flags. A high school brass band gathered on a makeshift stage, green jackets, gleaming. The conductor tapped his baton, and somewhere over the rainbow floated up, light as sea breeze. Marianne stepped from the booth, offering her hand to Travis. Dance with me, she said, half command, half plea. Official business. Travis wiped oil from his hands, letting her lead him into a simple two-step, caramel and salt air, enveloping them. The crowd smiled. Some snapping photos. Mid-song, Marianne stopped, dropping to one knee in the sand. The crowd hushed, forming a silent circle. In her hand, Ruth's chrome key gleamed under the sun. Her voice was steady, strong, like waves on basalt. The night I climbed into your car, I asked you to be a fake husband to save a house. Now I'm asking you to be a real partner, not for a will, but for the days ahead. Will you share this house, this market, these reins with me? The resolve of a 57-year-old woman kneeling before a 36-year-old man silenced even the gulls. Travis looked down, her eyes blazing with honest courage. He helped her stand, holding the key. I'll take the key, he said, voice deep and sure. But one condition. No ultimatums, just daily small stuff. Morning coffee, rusty screws, your dawn quiet, my midnight playlist. Marianne nodded, eyes shining. Deal. Applause erupted like breaking waves, the town seeming to wait for this scene to complete its own romance novel that evening. They climbed the hill with empty cocoa thermoses, pockets full of donations, and a slight headache from joy. On Ruth's porch, a bucket of eggshell paint, new brushes, and a stack of old Coastal Chronicle papers sat as a firestarter gift from the newsroom. Marianne unlocked the door, asking, where do we start? Travis rolled up his sleeves. With what we got, paint, light, and a good hour. They began painting, the brushes swish on wood like a whisper. A dog barked distantly, the dock creaked with the rising tide. The porch glowed with fresh pale paint. Marianne pulled a cheap Chardonnay from a paper bag. 2 foundations, she toasted, grinning. To the screws holding them together, Travis replied, clinking his bottle to hers. Inside, the house smelled of old wood and trapped summers in the floorboards. The living room held 2 wobbly armchairs and Ruth's record player. Travis picked an Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong disc. Dream a little dream of me filling the space like a velvet reverie. This your midnight quiet? Marianne asked, swaying in an armchair. Yup, Travis said. The needle's click proves the world's imperfect but alive. She closed her eyes, letting the bass guide the house's pulse. The next dawn, Marianne padded barefoot in the kitchen, rifling through jars of chili flakes and dried pears. Travis hauled in a coffee maker from his car, setting it on the counter. Small habit, rule 1. Good coffee saves every morning, he said, polishing a French press. Marianne sat across, stirring sugar into her mug. Rule 2. 3 minutes of silence to let thoughts soak. They sipped in quiet, sunlight through pines melting the 21-year age gap between them. That afternoon, they hung a bulletin board in the hall, labeled our small plans. The first pins held notes. Paint windows by month's end. Marianne, bike with a basket. Book chairs for porch jazz night. Beach picnic. August 30th anniversary of meeting. Marianne said, when fear creeps in, look here to remember big choices are just small pins in a row. Travis nodded, his wrench-calloused hands setting pins with the care of a mechanic. At sunset, they finished the porch railing. Marianne playfully dabbed paint on Travis's nose. You make my gray hair feel free, he laughed, dotting white on her cheek. Their laughter startled gulls into flight. Each brushstroke erased lingering panic. As the last sunlight hit the porch, Marianne whispered. She climbed into his car. But the real wind carried them off the old road, forging their own path. Travis rinsed Brush's eyes on clouds like half-written letters. Winding roads are best, he said. You see each other clearer at the turns. What was once a storm became a simple ritual: paint, warm breeze, and the comfort of a shoulder nearby. Travis and Marianne's story isn't just a ride through rain, a journey to rediscover connection, daring to live true to their hearts. Hidden Tales brings you stories like these, gems tucked in everyday moments, waiting for you to find them. Got an unexpected love story or a bold choice that changed your life? Share it in the comments to help us write new chapters together. Don't forget to like, follow Hidden Tales, and turn on notifications to catch every heartfelt tale. The next journey's waiting, let's uncover it.